The air in the Grand Pindopo Hall is thick with the scent of cloves and frangipani incense. Gamelan music, a hypnotic cascade of bronze and bamboo, drifts through the carved teak pillars, but it does little to soothe the tension. King Jayanegara, the second monarch of Majapahit, sits indolently on his gilded throne. He is young, arrogant, and widely disliked for his cruelty and immoral behavior. His eyes, heavy-lidded with wine and boredom, scan the assembled courtiers, dancers, and ministers. He is a king in name, but his authority is a fraying thread. Standing near a pillar, almost blending into the ornate shadows, is a young commander named Gajah Mada. As a member of the elite Byankara Royal Guard, his duty is to protect the king's life. He is built like a bull, his face a mask of stoic discipline, but his sharp eyes miss nothing. The whispered insults between ministers, the fearful glances of the serving girls, the contemptuous stares from regional lords. He sees the rot at the heart of the kingdom, a vulnerability that invites disaster. While the king indulges his whims, Gajah Mada feels the pulse of a gathering storm. His loyalty is to the throne, to the idea of Majapahit itself, but the man who occupies it is a liability. This gilded cage is about to break, and he knows he must be the one to either repair it or forge a new one from its pieces. The storm breaks. R.A. Kuti, a respected but peripheral official, leverages the court's deep unpopularity to launch a rebellion. It is not a frontal assault but a swift, insidious coup. His men, drawn from disgruntled factions within the palace itself, move through the capital like a plague, seizing key points and turning guards against their masters. The royal palace, once a symbol of impenetrable power, becomes a death trap. The sounds of gamelan are replaced by the clash of steel and the panicked screams of courtiers who, moments before, were lost in luxury. Gajah Mada and his Byankara guards are the last line of defense. They are hopelessly outnumbered. In the chaotic heart of the palace, he orchestrates a desperate fighting retreat, his voice a low growl that cuts through the din. He is not just a warrior, he is a strategist under fire. He orders barricades made from priceless furniture and uses the palace's labyrinthine corridors to his advantage, creating choke points to slow the rebels. He sees the king, Jayanegara, paralyzed by fear. In that moment, Gajah Mada's purpose crystallizes. His duty is not just to fight, but to think. Saving the king's life is paramount, not for the man himself, but for the symbol he represents. The kingdom cannot survive without its center. Under the cloak of a moonless night, Gajah Mada orchestrates a daring escape. The king is no longer a king. He is baggage, a terrified man stripped of his regalia and disguised in the rough-spun cloth of a peasant. Gajah Mada leads the small royal party through a secret sewer gate, the stench of waste a stark contrast to the perfumed palace they fled. They move like ghosts through the sleeping countryside, avoiding main roads and relying on Gajah Mada's knowledge of the terrain. Every snapped twig, every hoot of an owl, sends a jolt of fear through the king. Gajah Mada is the anchor. He leads them to the village of Badander, a remote and loyalist hamlet. There, he secures the king in a villager's hut, a space so humble Jayanegara can barely comprehend it. Gajah Mada's task is twofold. He must ensure the king remains hidden and, more importantly, ensure the world believes the king is dead. He instructs the villagers to spread rumors of the king's demise during the coup. This psychological warfare is his most crucial weapon. A usurper on the throne is one thing. A usurper who has replaced a dead king is seen as legitimate. A usurper who has replaced a living, hidden king is vulnerable. Gajah Mada is not just hiding a man. He is preserving a weapon to be deployed later. Leaving the king in the care of his most trusted men in Badander, Gajah Mada embarks on a mission far more dangerous than open combat. He rides alone, a solitary figure moving through the heartland of the empire that R.A. Kuti now believes he controls. His objective is to gauge the loyalty of the regional administrators and military commanders. He cannot arrive as a royal envoy. To do so would expose the king's survival and invite assassins. Instead, he travels as a merchant, a monk, a simple traveler, his true identity hidden. In the torchlit halls of provincial governors and the dusty barracks of army captains, he listens. He probes, asking seemingly innocent questions about the new regime in the capital. He notes who speaks of R.A. Kuti with enthusiasm, who does so with fear, and, most importantly, who remains silent, their eyes filled with unspoken loyalty to the old dynasty. To these select few, in hushed tones in the dead of night, he reveals the truth. The king lives. He does not command them to act. Instead, he plants a seed of hope and righteous anger. He is weaving a web of conspiracy, connecting the scattered threads of loyalty across the kingdom. He is turning the empire's own communication network against its illegitimate ruler, preparing the ground for the king's spectacular return. The time is right. The seeds of dissent have sprouted. The loyalist forces, secretly assembled by the commanders Gajah Mada contacted, are poised on the outskirts of Trowulan. R.A. Kuti, comfortable on his stolen throne, has grown complacent, believing the rumors of Jayanegara's death and underestimating the deep-seated loyalty to the dynasty. Gajah Mada's plan is one of overwhelming shock and awe. He will not lay siege to the city. He will decapitate the rebellion in a single surgical strike. As the first hint of dawn touches the sky, the assault begins. Gajah Mada, now back in his Byankara armor, leads the vanguard himself. They storm the city gates, their battle cries shattering the morning quiet. The rebels, caught completely by surprise, mount a confused and desperate defense. The fighting is fierce but brief. Gajah Mada's forces move with purpose and precision, securing the palace and hunting down the rebellion's leadership. Gajah Mada personally confronts R.A. Kuti in the throne room, the very room from which he had fled. There is no negotiation. The clash is brutal, a whirlwind of steel and fury. Gajah Mada, fueled by months of cunning and patience, cuts down the usurper. As the sun rises fully over the capital, it illuminates the banners of the rightful king, once again flying over the palace walls. The rebellion is over. King Jayanegara is restored to his throne, and Gajah Mada is hailed as the savior of the dynasty. He is granted a higher title and greater influence at court. Yet victory tastes like ash. The king, having been humbled and terrified, has not learned wisdom, but paranoia. He sees threats in every shadow and trusts no one, not even the man who saved him. Worse, his decadent and predatory nature returns with a vengeance. The court once again becomes a place of fear, not from an outside threat, but from the whims of the monarch himself. A particularly galling incident seals Gajah Mada's disillusionment. The king, known for his lecherous behavior, takes an inappropriate interest in the wives of his courtiers, including Gajah Mada's own wife. This is not merely a personal insult. It is a profound violation of trust and a sign that the king is a danger to the very fabric of the state. Gajah Mada stands guard, his expression unreadable, but inside a cold fury is building. He saved the crown, but the man wearing it is poisoning the kingdom from within. He is trapped by his own success, bound by duty to a monarch he no longer respects and is beginning to despise. His loyalty is shifting from the man to the institution, and he begins to contemplate what must be done when the two are in fatal conflict. The situation becomes untenable. King Jayanegara suffers from a painful boil and his court physician, a man named Tanka, is summoned to perform a minor surgery. The historical accounts are murky, layered with centuries of political spin, but they converge on a single, bloody point. During the procedure, Tanka's knife cuts deeper than intended, and the king is fatally wounded. In the immediate aftermath, before anyone can properly question the physician, Gajah Mada, who was present as the king's guard, strikes Tanka down, killing him instantly. The official story is clear. A clumsy physician botched a procedure, and in a fit of righteous rage for his fallen king, Gajah Mada enacted immediate justice. But the whispers in the palace tell a different tale. Was it an accident? Or did Gajah Mada, seeing an opportunity to rid the kingdom of its toxic ruler, subtly signal to Tanka that he would be protected if he made a mistake? Or perhaps Tanka acted on his own grievances, and Gajah Mada simply seized the moment to silence the only witness. In this single, violent act, Gajah solves the problem of the king. He is seen as the king's ultimate loyalist, the avenging hand, while simultaneously clearing the path for a new, more stable ruler. It is a masterpiece of political maneuvering, cloaked in blood and plausible deniability. With Jayanegra dead and no male heir, the throne passes to his half-sister, Tribhuwana Wijetungadui. She is everything her brother was not, intelligent, pious, and deeply committed to the prosperity of the kingdom. As Queen Regent, one of her first and most significant acts is to address the power vacuum at the center of government. She summons Gajah, the man who saved her dynasty from Arekudi and, in a way, from her brother. In a formal ceremony before the assembled court, she appoints him Majapahit Prime Minister. It is the highest office in the land, second only to the monarch. This is not just a promotion, it is a partnership. The queen recognizes Gajah fierce loyalty, not to a person, but to Majapahit itself. She sees his ambition, his strategic mind, and his ruthlessness, and understands that these qualities, when yoked to a noble purpose, can forge an empire. As he kneels to accept the title, there is a palpable shift of power in the room. He is no longer just the shield of the monarchy. He is now its sword and its architect. The queen provides the legitimacy and the vision, and Gajah now has the authority to execute it on a scale no one can yet imagine. Their alliance will define an era. During a court assembly, shortly after being confirmed as Majapahit under Queen Tribhuwana, Gajah does something extraordinary. He stands before the queen and the council of ministers, his voice resonating through the vast hall. He is not there to give a report or seek consensus. He is there to make a declaration that will be etched into the soul of his nation. He proclaims what will forever be known as the Sumpa Palapa, the Palapa Oath. I will not taste Palapa, he thunders, his voice raw with conviction. Palapa could mean spices or, more metaphorically, any worldly pleasure or comfort. I will not rest. I will not enjoy the fruits of my office until I have united the entirety of Nusantara under the glory of Majapahit. A shocked silence falls over the court. Nusantara, the islands, the archipelago from Sumatra to the Spice Islands. It is a staggeringly audacious goal. Some ministers scoff at his arrogance. Others are stunned by the sheer scale of his ambition. But the queen sees the fire in his eyes. This is not a boast. It is a sacred vow. In this moment, Gajah transforms from a prime minister into the living embodiment of the nation's destiny. He has given himself, and his kingdom, a singular unifying purpose: to build the greatest empire their world has ever known. 2 decades have passed. Gajah is older now, his face a roadmap of countless campaigns, political battles, and sleepless nights. He stands on a high balcony of the palace, looking out not at the city, but at a vast map of Nusantara laid out on a teak table before him. It is a map he has redrawn with diplomacy, trade agreements, and, when necessary, the sword. From Bali to Sumatra, from the Malay Peninsula to the spice-rich Moluccas, the banners and influence of Majapahit hold sway. The oath is fulfilled. He is the most powerful man in the largest empire the archipelago has ever seen. Queen Tribhuwana has abdicated to her son, Hayam Wuruk, and Gajah has served them all, the unwavering pillar of the state. But the map shows the truth of his life. Each tributary state, each secured trade route was bought at a cost. He thinks of the battles fought, the betrayals orchestrated, the personal life he sacrificed. He never did taste Palapa. His entire existence has been subsumed by the monumental task he set for himself. There is no joy of victory on his face, only the immense, soul-crushing weight of a completed vow. He is Gajah, the empire builder, the unifier. And as the sun sets, casting long shadows across his map, he is utterly and completely alone with his creation.